He stopped texting, and you're left on red, heart-pounding, mind-racing. 1 minute he was lighting up your phone, the next radio silence. No good morning text, no explanation, nothing. Sound familiar? Before you spiral into overthinking, listen up. I'm about to break down exactly why he suddenly stopped texting and how you can handle it like a boss. This isn't the same old fluff. We're putting a unique spin on it so you come out confident, not clingy. Strap in because the next few minutes might just change how you see the whole situation. Breathe. It's not automatically your fault. First off, take a deep breath. I know it feels awful. You go from those sweet daily messages that make your day to staring at a silent screen. Your brain is probably whispering every worst case scenario. Did I do something wrong? Was it something I said? Is he with someone else? Let's get one thing straight. His silence isn't automatically a reflection of your worth. There are many reasons a guy might go MIA, and not all of them are, because you messed up. So before you panic, text him or sink into self-doubt. Remember that this is a puzzle you can solve without losing your cool or your self-respect. Possible reasons he stopped texting. All right, let's unpack this mystery. Why would a guy who is texting you regularly just stop? Here are several possibilities, and yes, we'll be fair to both him and you. Busy with life. Sometimes life happens. He could be slammed at work, dealing with family issues, or up to his eyeballs in a personal crisis. Maybe he's studying for exams, pulling 80-hour weeks, or handling something heavy. In these cases, he might genuinely be too preoccupied to text much. Not everyone can juggle everything at once. Some guys compartmentalize and focus on one thing at a time. If he's a decent guy, he might just be planning to text you once things calm down. But, and here's the flip side, remember that people make time for what's important. Being busy for a day is understandable. Vanishing for a week with zero contact, that starts to feel less like busy and more like making excuses. Even the busiest man alive, if he truly values you, can usually send a quick, "Hey, crazy day, talk soon." So, while he might be caught up in life, don't let busy become a never-ending excuse in your own mind. He's not a big texter. Believe it or not, some guys just suck at texting. It's not about you at all. Society doesn't exactly train men to be chatty communicators, especially over text. You know that old saying about women using tens of thousands of words per day while men use far fewer? It exists for a reason. Depending on who you ask, women on average use roughly 20 to 30,000 words a day, whereas men use around 10,000. Whether or not those exact numbers are perfect, the point stands. Many men simply communicate differently. For a lot of guys, texting is just a tool for information, not deep conversation. He might think everything's fine because, in his world, texting constantly isn't normal. Maybe he figures, we're good. We'll talk when we meet up, while you're interpreting his silence as lack of interest. Some men also feel texting anxiety. They see a message, feel pressure to come up with a great reply, and then procrastinate until it feels too awkward to respond at all. Yes, it sounds silly, but it happens. So if he's terrific in person, but a ghost in text, this could be a clue. He might just not live on his phone the way you do. This doesn't excuse him completely. Basic courtesy is still key, but it means his quietness might not be malicious or dismissive. It might just be how he is. The connection fizzled. Texting isn't enough. Sometimes, the texting was the only thing holding a new fling together. If you two haven't spent much time in person, then all those witty messages and flirty emojis can create a false sense of a bond. But real connections need face-to-face time. Men aren't usually looking for a pen pal or an endless text buddy. Most want an actual relationship that exists off the screen. If you met briefly or went on a couple of dates and then mainly texted, The emotional investment on his end might have stayed shallow. After the initial excitement, if there wasn't a deeper foundation, his interest can fade. He might have thought you were cool, but not enough was there to keep the effort up. It's harsh but true. If texting was the glue, once that slows, there's not much left. This doesn't mean you did anything wrong. You just didn't have enough time to truly build a bond yet. The takeaway here is that quality time beats keyboard time. Without real-world connection, a text-only relationship can fizzle out fast, and he might simply stop texting rather than explain that the vibe wasn't strong enough for him. Miscommunication or a turn-off. Think back. Was there anything that might have rubbed him the wrong way? Maybe a joke that didn't land right over text, or a comment he misunderstood. Texting lacks tone. Something meant playfully can come across wrong. Or perhaps on your last date, something felt off. You might not have noticed, but he did. For example, if he thought you were making fun of him, or if he felt you were too into him too fast, or conversely, not interested enough, he might have quietly backed away. Here's the frustrating part. You'll probably never know exactly what it was if this is the case. A lot of guys will ghost instead of having an honest conversation about what bothered them. It's not mature, but it's common. The key here is not to obsess over every detail, trying to pinpoint one wrong move. Unless it's something obvious, you're likely chasing ghosts, pun intended. If he was offended or turned off and didn't tell you, that's on him. All you can do is reflect generally. Were you respectful and genuine? If yes, then don't beat yourself up. If something minor bothered him so much he bailed, he probably wasn't the right match, or he's not good at communication. He's testing you, playing a little game. The mind games. Some guys, instead of communicating like adults, will pull back on purpose to see how you react. The thought process might be, let's see if she cares enough to notice I'm gone. Will she text me first if I go quiet? It's a bit of an ego trip, or sometimes an insecure move to gauge your interest. Is it immature? Yes. Does it happen? Unfortunately, it does. Maybe he's used to being the one who initiates, and now he's waiting for you to make a move as a sort of test. Or he read some dumb advice online that says, don't text her for a few days to keep her keen. Here's what you need to know. The best way to win a game like this is not to play. If you suspect he's pulling the old disappearing act to see if you'll chase, do not fall for it. A little space is fine, but outright ghosting you to test you, that's a red flag. A relationship startup shouldn't be a strategy contest. You're not a mouse in some maze, seeing if you'll chase the cheese. Show interest if you have it, sure, but don't jump through hoops for someone who's yanking you around on purpose. If he's testing your interest by stopping texting, the only lesson he should learn is that you're not desperate for breadcrumbs. He's spooked by feelings, commitment jitters. This one might surprise you. Sometimes a guy really likes you, and that scares the hell out of him. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But fear of commitment, or just fear of big feelings, is real. Maybe things were going so well that he caught himself catching feelings and panicked. Some men have a tendency to retreat or go into their man cave when emotions get intense. If he has past baggage, say a nasty breakup or trust issues, getting close to someone new can trigger those defenses. So what does he do? He pulls back. He might not even fully understand why he's doing it. You get a vague, I need some space vibe, or he just vanishes to sort out his head. Here's the thing. His fear is not your responsibility to fix. It's his issue. Yes, it's possible he stopped texting because he's wrestling with his own emotions. If he comes back around and communicates honestly that he got overwhelmed, it's up to you if you want to give him another shot. But if he simply ghosts whenever he feels himself getting closer, that's a roller coaster you don't want to ride. You deserve someone who's excited, not scared, to have one hurts. We have to address it. He might have started talking to someone else. In modern dating, it's common for people to chat with multiple prospects until something becomes serious. You might not have been the only person on his radar. It's not the most pleasant thought, but it's reality. Perhaps an old flame, like an ex, came back into his life, or he met someone new who pulled his attention away. If he reconnected with an ex he still has feelings for, he could have gone radio silent with you because he didn't know how to handle it. No, it's not fair to you at all. And it's definitely not an excuse to just ghost. Basic respect would be to at least let you know, but many guys will avoid that awkward, I met someone else text and just fade out. Do not blame yourself if this happened. It's not that you weren't good enough. It's simply that his path took a turn back to his past or towards someone else. In a weird way, he might even have thought ghosting would hurt you less than telling you the truth, which, let's be real, is flawed logic. If you strongly suspect this scenario, like you saw him posting pictures with some new girl, or he mentioned an ex and then disappeared, take it as closure. He made a choice. It sucks, but at least you're not his backup plan. You're nobody's second option. Remember that. Let him go and be glad you found out now, rather than later. He's just not interested anymore. Finally, the most straightforward and toughest reason, his interest faded. It might not be anything you did or anything dramatic. Sometimes the chemistry just isn't enough to sustain things. Maybe in the beginning he was enthusiastic, but after a while he realized it wasn't what he's looking for. And instead of manning up and telling you, he opted for the silent exit. Ouch, I know. Being ghosted by someone who you thought liked you is painful. It leaves you with no answers and a bunch of self-doubt if you're not careful. But let me emphasize this. Someone else's lack of interest does not equal a lack of value in you. Not everyone is a match, and that's okay. It would have been much more respectful if he had said, hey, I don't feel we're clicking, wish you the best, but not everyone has that courage or courtesy. Some people find it easier to avoid the issue and hope you get the hint. It's a coward's way out, but it is an answer in itself. If he ghosted because he lost interest, try to reframe it like this. He just freed you up to find the person who can't wait to text you back. In a way, he did you a favor by stepping out of your life now instead of later. As the saying goes, sometimes the trash takes itself out. Harsh wording maybe, but the truth is that someone who leaves so abruptly is showing you they weren't going to be a good partner. Better to know now than invest more time and heart. How to respond like a confident boss. Knowing the possible why is helpful, but equally important is what you do next. Here's where you take back control of the situation. The worst thing you can do is react out of panic or anger and lose your dignity. So, let's walk through how to handle this gracefully and confidently. Step 1. Do not panic. He's gone silent. Your first impulse might be to fire off a bunch of messages. Hey, is everything okay? Did I do something wrong? Resist that urge. No good comes from blowing up his phone. Sending one follow-up text after some time has passed is fine. More on that in a second. But sending 5-10 messages in a row when he's already not responding will only push him further away. It can make you come across as overly anxious or even a bit unhinged, and that's not the look we're going for here. You want to come off as the confident, high-value person you are, not someone begging for attention. So put the phone down for a moment. Breathe. Do nothing, at least initially. Often, silence is golden. Give it a day or two to see if he reappears on his own. Sometimes people do come back with an apology like, hey, sorry I've been MIA. It's been crazy at work. You can decide how you feel about that if it happens. But in the immediate aftermath of him stopping texting, your best move is to stay calm and don't start spamming him. Step 2. If you're genuinely worried, reach out once, calmly. After a bit of time, let's say it's been a few days and you're legitimately concerned or you just want clarity, It's perfectly okay to send one casual, friendly message. Keyword: one. Maybe something like, "Hey, you've been quiet lately. Everything all right on your end?" Short, simple, and non-accusatory. Or maybe a lighthearted, "Hey, you alive over there?" If that fits your style and you had that kind of rapport, the goal is to check in, not to chastise. You're giving him the benefit of the doubt with that one message. If he's just been busy or distracted, this is his chance to explain and get things back on track. If you do hear back with a reasonable explanation, he says he was overwhelmed with work, or he's been sick, etc., pay attention to how he says it. Is he apologetic and eager to reconnect? Good sign. Is he vague and still distant? Not so great. And if he doesn't answer you at all, well, that is your answer, isn't it? Which brings us to the next step. Step 3. Accept what you see. No response is a response. If your one polite check-in gets nothing back, or you got a half-hearted reply, and then more silence, it's time to face the music. As much as it hurts, you have to accept that he's chosen to fade out. This is where your confidence kicks in full force. Do not double text. Do not send a long paragraph demanding to know why. You've made an effort. He hasn't met you even halfway. That speaks volumes. Now you respect yourself enough to walk away gracefully. It might help to literally say to yourself, "Okay, I've done my part. The ball is in his court. I'm stepping back." And step back for good. That means no late night impulsive texts, no checking his social media obsessively to decipher clues, and absolutely no begging for an explanation. Silence can be painful, but sometimes it's the only closure you'll get. And it is closure. His actions, or lack thereof, are telling you everything you need to know about his interest and character. Step 4. Focus back on you. This is the most important step. When someone pulls away, turn that energy inward. Do things that make you feel happy and confident. Hang out with friends who lift you up. Dive into your hobbies, hit the gym, throw yourself into that project you've been meaning to do. Remind yourself that your world does not revolve around some guy's texting habits. The goal here isn't to pretend you don't care. It's normal to feel hurt or confused, but to reinforce the fact that your life is full and awesome with or without him. When you keep busy with things that fulfill you, not just as a distraction, 2 things happen. 1, you start to genuinely feel better because you're not sitting alone dwelling on the silence. 2, if he does pop back up, you'll be in a much stronger mental place to decide if you even want to bother responding. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, but it'll be on your terms, not from a place of desperation. Step 5, keep your standards high. It might help to set a mental rule. I only want people in my life who show up for me. Simple. If someone can go days or weeks without even a courtesy text, are they really meeting that standard? You deserve consistent effort, respect, and communication. By valuing yourself, you're indirectly teaching others how to treat you. So if Mr. Disappearing Texter comes back with a casual, "Hey, how you been?" as if nothing happened, you have every right to respond in a way that protects your heart. You can be cool and say, "Oh, hey, been busy? You?" and keep it short. Or not reply at all if you're over it. What you shouldn't do is immediately act like everything is peachy and reward his vanishing act with your full attention again. Let him explain himself if he tries. But remember, you are the prize here. Someone who truly values you won't put you through emotional whiplash without a darn good reason. And "I'm just bad at texting" only goes so far. Keeping your standards high isn't about holding a grudge. It's about not settling for inconsiderate behavior. Moving forward, with or without him. By now, you should have a clearer picture that his texting silence is about a lot more than just you. It could be his hectic life, his relationship with his phone, his insecurities, his fears, or simply his inability to be the man you need. Whatever the reason, it's on him. Your job is to remember who you are: a confident, worthy, and awesome individual who doesn't need to beg for attention from anyone. When you approach the situation with that mindset, you actually become more attractive, not just to him, but to everyone. Confidence and self-respect are magnetic. Whether he comes back or not, you'll be fine. Actually, you'll be better than fine, because you won't waste days in limbo feeling like a simp or a victim. You're acknowledging your feelings. It's okay to be disappointed or even angry, but you're not letting them derail your self-esteem. And here's a final twist. When you stop fretting over why he hasn't texted and start focusing on living your life, one of two things will happen. Either he'll realize your absence and snap out of his haze, reaching out with renewed effort, or he won't, and someone else will step into your life who does appreciate consistent communication. Either outcome is a win for you. Seriously, if he returns and steps up, it means he recognized that you won't wait around forever, and he'd better treat you right. If he doesn't return, you just cleared space for a better communicator to enter the scene. So the next time your phone goes quiet, remember this: you have the power here. You can't control his actions, but you can control your response. Instead of crying into your pillow asking why, you'll know the possible whys. And you'll also know that ultimately, it doesn't matter which one it is. What matters is that you're not going to lose your dignity over a guy who can't send a text. You're going to stay classy, stay confident, and keep your heart open for someone who values it. In the end, if he stopped texting you and never resumes, chalk it up to a lesson and dodge that bullet. Life is too short to chase after someone who isn't smart enough to recognize your worth. And if he does come back apologizing, well, you'll evaluate if it's worth giving him a second chance on your terms. Either way, you win by not compromising your self-respect. You've got this. Trust me, today it might sting, but tomorrow you'll remember that the right people won't leave you hanging. And you don't need to chase anyone to get the love and respect you deserve. Keep your head up, your standards high, and let the silence speak for itself. Your story isn't over just because he went quiet. It's just beginning a new chapter. One where you call the shots.